Hi, we are today in a very difficult moment for the Druze community. And to talk about it, I asked for an interview with Nadeem Amar. I am honored to call Nadeem my friend, and
Thank you.
he is the founder of the Ohr Foundation, uh, former mayor of Yulis, a Druze town, and he was my guide when I went to Israel and made some interviews with the Druze community. So thank you so much, Nadim, for this interview for Enlace Judío.
Thank you. You are mostly welcome, and thank you having me on this interview.
Thank you. So you just told me, and we are also very worried about the situation in Sueda, which is the home of many Druze, Syrian Druze. What we know, it all started on July 11. A vegetable seller from Sueda was kidnapped while he was traveling, and then there was a chaos. We know that it started when a vegetable seller was kidnapped outside of Sweden. And then a lot of things happened. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, exactly. It was like event, a small event, which is start with a big conflict, and unfortunately, we witnessed to very dangerous and worried scale of violence against the Druze community. I mean, it's like for us. I mean, we just like see and hear and like. Listen to the news, the terrible news. It's a massacre. It's really a massacre. It's a kind of a genocide against the Druze community there. But it's not really the question whether it's like a vegetable seller being kidnapped, which is terrible, which is really a crime, criminal thing. But we think that since Ahmad al-Shara, we regarded him as a terrorist. Once a terrorist, always a terrorist. It doesn't matter whether he's now wearing a beautiful suit or he looks like a nice guy, but he's still a terrorist. The same guy, he really led a group of the Nusra and the extreme Islamic fundamentalism, and he killed and slaughtered thousands and thousands of people. He himself and his regime and his gang, and now all his gang, even if they are not Arab, they come from Chechnya, Pakistan, Afghanistan, or other country. So, I mean, I don't really believe that this guy is going to change his personality because we just like witness since he took power. He just like slaughtered the Alawim and then the Christian and now the Drusim because it's really deep in their belief. A fundamentalist Islamic group we believe it's the whole world must be like them. There's no place for Jewish, for Christian, for Muslim who are not like them. And of course, the Druze, they regard the Druze as the worst thing. Like we listen to male voice where they regard the Druze they are the most dangerous people in this earth. We have to kill them and kick them and throw them to the sea. And so this ideological, I would say, this dangerous ideology, this is the main point. Not really whether a vegetable seller being kidnapped by the Bedouin as again, it's really criminal and this is worse. And maybe it's start the whole. But I'm pointing to the mm, to the to the goal of the regime. I make the point what the final, so to say, the final solution for the Druze community. From their point of view, the final solution that the Druze have to surrender, the Druze have to be, if they want, do not want to surrender, and to convert to Islam, not the not the main Islam, which I do respect, the Islam as a religion. I do respect. We live here in Israel with such harmony with the Muslim and the Christian, of course, the Jewish and Druze together. But they want the Druze to convert either to, or they have two options, or to be killed and thrown to the sea, or to be like them. There's no other option. Of course, the Druze not going to be like them. The Druze going to fight, and the Druze going to win.
Of course. Now, so I want to understand who attacked the Druze. Is it some Bedouin tribes, or is it the regime of Ahmad al-Shara?
All the attacker of the Druze, by the end of the day, go back to the Sharia. Because first, like the first 2 days, said the Sharia sent his police, his forces to calm the area. But we saw what Sharia forces really did, a brutal, vicious attack. They slaughtered like children. Girl, where she played the how to say in English, the musical instrument. They killed her. They killed the child a few days ago. They just like force four men, two brother doctors and engineer, forced them to jump from the 50th floor and shoot them dead. You may seen that. They like entered the hospital and they killed hundreds of doctor, nurse, patient. They killed everybody with the, like we listened to the interview of some of these guys, Ishara guys, who really do not speak Arabic at all. They can't speak Arabic. They come from Chechnya, come from Uzbekistan, come from all the world. And they said, okay, we have one mission. We have mission to eliminate the Druze community. And that's it. That's the forces of Sharia. And after 2, 3 days, when Israel intervened, when the Israeli forces, the air forces really attacked them, it's just like the Sharia gave an order to pull out. So it's Sharia troops. And after that, the Bedouin who gave them the order is Sharia, and who gave them order to pull out is Sharia. So the Bedouin and the Sharia troops came from not from Syria, and this is the dangers to Syria, where the main troops of the Sharia, they are not Syrian. They just like came with this ideology with ISIS. We just like we've been witness to what ISIS did few years ago. I mean, to all to Muslim, not to Druze, not to Jewish, not to Christian, but to Muslim. What they did in Iraq, what they did in all other countries. I mean, they slaughtered and they slaughtered Muslim even. That's the really the most dangerous ideology ever we've been seeing since the Nazi. I mean, I mean, it's really hard to say. Some of the videos we saw when they cut the mustache of the Druze, when they cut the beard of this Jews, when they like throw the unique and special white hat of the Druze, it's remind everybody of us about of the Nazi regime, of the Nazi kind of activities. That's it. It's exactly the same idea to eliminate a minority group because their belief they do not accept any other minority. They do not accept any other belief apart from their belief and their belief and their God to kill people.
What is their belief?
The, their belief that the only people have to live in this earth, they have to be like them. Like them, that's mean they have their own God, they have they have this belief to have a monopoly to the God, to their God.
What is
I,
their religion?
the sect of the Muslim, but they really do not represent the majority of the Muslim in the world. They are very, very small, extreme terrorist group which believe like that everybody in this earth, no place for Christian, no place for Jewish, for Muslim even of course not for Druze, apart from to believe exactly like them. Exactly like them, that means to be extremist, to have this ideology that the Islam from their point of view. And don't make a mistake. Not the Islam we know, not the Islam you know, not the Islam I know, not the Islam that my many friends we know. We live together in Lebanon and Syria and in Israel all over the world. They are not the same Islam, but they are also against against the normal Islam.
The main Islam. Now, we know that the Druze were loyal to the Assad regime because the same way they are loyal to the ruling regime wherever they are, no? To like the Israeli Druze are loyal to the Israeli government. Was that the reason why they were attacked? Because you say it's a religious reason.
Yeah. First, it's a religious. It's like nothing to do with the nation. What the Druze want in Syria, the Druze. Let's remind that the Druze were played a crucial part of kicking Bashar Assad out. The Druze been like demonstrate against the Assad family for the last 2 3 years, but a peaceful demonstration and and Bashar Assad said, "Okay, I'm not going to play with the Druze because it's too dangerous to play with the Druze," and he was wise in this sense. But he never like sent that, or maybe he tried to send the troop to the Druze, but by the end of the day, it did not happen. So after like a change of the regime and the Druze community and their leader Sheikh Hakmat al-Hajari said, okay, we get rid of Bashar Assad regime, tyrant regime, but we want a new era. We want a new regime. We want a regime to be based on human rights. We want a regime to be based in freedom. We want a regime to be in tolerance toward the community, towards the minorities, to a free religion, a free speech here. That's what the Druze asking all the time. The Druze leader Hikmat al-Hajari, who is educated as a lawyer, said, okay, what about the constitution? What we going to do in Syria? Why not we going to share the power? The country for the whole community. Leave the religious outside. One of the greatest Druze leader, 100 years ago, Sultan Bashar Atrash, he played a crucial part to the independence of Syria, said, okay, the country for the people, religious, leave it. Each one to practice his own belief, his own religious, but the country for the whole. And that's what Hikmat al-Hajari, the current leader of the Druze community, asking for. We said, okay, let's all together be Syrian. Let's all together share a power, share a constitution to protect, to practice freedom. If we want to belong to the West, let's play the same games of the West. You can't just like wear a suit. I'm going to make a peace and all this, and the other side, you're going to be worse even than Bashar Assad. Worse even that at least Bashar Assad and his father were a tyrant and were crucial, but they were like how to say they did not play with the religious. They were secular, not religious, not extreme religious. That's this guy. He's a terrorist, and he's also want to control the religious, want to try to take the freedom of the religious from all the minorities and to make them believe exactly his own dangerous belief.
Wow. And we also saw Israeli Druze crossing the border bare hand to help their brothers in Syria. What is the relation between the Israeli and the Syrian Druze? And I understand it's like the same tribe, but it was separated when Israel came to be?
No, not all the time. Over before Independence Day, 1947. I mean, the Druze in Syria were at that part. In Syria was a town, and here in Israel also were the Druze of the state of Israel at that time lived together, Palestinian and Israeli, and the Druze here. That means we are not like belong to the same state or even before the independent state of Israel. But what you're saying now about the demonstration and many hundreds of Druze across the border to help the Druze, of course, imagine our feeling as a Druze. We are a minority. The Jewish people in the world, 15 million people. The Druze, only 2 million people. And when there's a dangerous to your brother, to your sister, when you see like a real dangerous, a real genocide against your own people, how you were going to react? Imagine just like I'm talking with many friends, Jewish friends, said like when we heard about anything in Australia, Sydney, New Zealand, everywhere in the world that someone harmed the synagogue or someone like criminal gang against the Jewish and against the Kippah, we here really feel so emotional about against this act. So imagine we are just like next door. We see every day, tens and hundreds of video where your own people, your brother, your sister, been slaughtered, really, been killed, been fired, been terrible, vicious. No word can describe what's going on. So believe how we going to act, to react, and hopefully, we expect as a Druze have this unique bond and relation, strong bond with the Jewish, not only with Israel, with the Jewish people around the world for the last 150 years. The Druze is the best friend for the Jewish people. The Druze always stand with the Jewish in every event. The Druze were in October the 7th, hundred and thousand of Druze boys, guys, soldiers went to the south to help in October the 7th. And as I said before in the interview before, I mean, the whole Druze community, 150,000 here in Israel, were a soldier, women, children, everybody like made effort how to help the soldier, how to take part of defending the country and That's it. So we now, in the worst time as a Druze, we expect the Jewish people around the world, and of course the Israeli government to stand with us, to protect us. As I said, it we as a human, I think we would just like expect the Jewish community as a moral, not as a moral things, because no one more than the Jewish understand this situation. So the expectation, the high expectation from the Jewish around the world to protect the Druze, not only as a Druze, as a minority, and of course as a Druze because the unique bound and unique relationship with the Druze community. That's it. I must say that Israel really played the crucial part here, and without Israel, without the intervention of the Israeli government and the Israeli army and the Israeli air force, the situation even uh, could be much, much worse.
Of course. And
Yeah,
I think the world was shocked because they didn't know about the bond between the Druze and the Israelis. But you are right. All the Jews should stand by the Druze, and now more than ever. So
yeah.
how can we help? I know you are the founder of the Ohr Foundation. How can we help the Ohr Foundation?
Really, you can help the Ohr Foundation. I'm for the last week been talking with too many friends mainly in the United States. The my friends, who's leader of Jewish organization, like to organize something, to do something, to say something, because I believe in the power of the Jewish community. I believe in the power of the Jewish community and Jewish organization and Jewish leader in the United States and in Latin America to stand to also to speak to their governments, because unfortunately I think there is lack of understanding of the Trump administration about the situation, lack of understanding of the Trump situation about why Israel have to stand with the Druze, why Israel have to stand right now with the Druze community, because the Druze in Israel, it's the main part of the Israeli security, and also protecting the Druze community in this weather, of course, and first it's protecting Druze, but it's also for the safe and for the security of the state of Israel, because this weather is next door. So we cannot allow any troops or any terrorist organization or any Julani to come to be close to the to Israeli border, because it's really for the long time it's too dangerous. It's even worse than Hamas, worse than October the 7th. And what I really want I thank you for about your generosity. How you going to help the or as you know, I'm working with my friend Maxime Dover, and we at all try right now to support the Druze community in Syria by helping them with the also with money cash, because they close everything, with equipment, with maybe some of the Druze from there like patient came to Israeli hospital, and also to educate our activities in the all to educate the community here, to educate the community in Israel, the Druze community in Israel, how to be proud Israeli, how like we push the young, the girls, the boys as a Druze. That's you have to be a proud Israeli, to go to the army, to go to the college, and that's our main goal. But right now, also, we're working how to help the Druze community in Syria. How in this a crucial time, I'm with contact with my friends in the Golan Heights. You've been with me in the Golan Heights. How to arrange things, how like to send things, how to send like now today in my town in Yulis, we have hundred of volunteers like buying things, buying food, buying medicines, buying equipment, putting money and send to the Sweden in the right direction to help people because the seeds they're closer. Apart from the brutal attack to this community, they cut the electricity, the water. So we're doing every effort, and the Ohr Foundation in the front really. The Ohr Foundation, I'm working so hard to be part of how now in this crucial time my people need me, what I'm going to do. And I'm really appreciate, and I expect, I, I'm appeal to the Jewish community in the state, in Europe, in your country, in Latin America. Really, we need you. This time we need you. We need your help.
Yes, of course. I think we have to correspond for all what the Druze gave to the state of Israel and are still giving in combat, in support. Everywhere. It is really a brotherhood with
Yeah,
the Druze
yeah.
community. It's not only nationalistic or it's a real brotherhood. I think everybody has to support the Ohr Foundation. And are you afraid of another cycle of violence in Syria? Do you think?
I think I'm sorry to say it, if the Julani regime, this guy did not understand that the West, led by the United States, stop him now, stop him now, and make him understand that you can't play two games, one the suit game and the other the brutal terrorist game. And if he thinks, unfortunately, that he get the green line from the West, that's okay. It's just a small dispute. I'm sorry to say it, I expect in like the near future, they're going to attack the Druze community again because they have this goal, have this idea. There's no place for different religions. There's no place for a Druze. There's no place for someone
Christian?
who does not believe us. And this time Israel stood with the Druze community. This time the Air Forces, this time the army, the Israeli army really played a good defense part. But who knows what's going to be next week, next month.
Of course, because we heard about Trump's plan to add Syria to the Abraham Accords. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, it's really how come like people behave like what the whole world just so. How come, how come to talk about to be part of the Abraham Accord, a peace accord? I think the wrongful act of the United States and Europe that they left the sanction too quickly. I mean, just the guy only few months. Gave him like, why he didn't listen to the truth later said, what about the constitution? What about election? What about reform? What about making joint government from Christian? Do you know there's nearly 2.5 Christian in Syria? Two and a half, 2.5 million Christian in Syria. Have you heard about them? Have you heard anything about taking power, sharing power? No, nothing. But nothing. People can't be, people don't believe when I said there's 2.5 million Christians living in Syria. Never, we don't hear them. We don't like that's it. So the problem here that the West must make the point very, very clear to the regime there that you have to stop this killing. You have to stop this massacre. You have to stop this. From our point of view, it's a terrorist attack, like the terrorist attack during September the 11th, like the terrorist attack October the 7th. It's the same things with the same ideologic idea, with catastrophic. It's a catastrophic. I don't want to say after what happened really with the Alawi and with the Druze, and they burned the church here and attacked Christian here. I really think there's no place for this regime. There's no place. I mean, the Syrian people really deserve a different regime. The Syrian people really, after many years, civil war, kick out the regime of Bashar Assad to deserve much, much better regime for a better future, for a good future, for a normal future, they deserve freedom, they deserve tolerance, they deserve civil rights. Right now, the Syrian people, unfortunately, have nothing of what I just mentioned.
Well, inshallah, that they will get a good government like they deserve, and
Thank you.
of course we will be following the events, and we invite everybody listening to this interview to help the Ohr Foundation.
Thank you. I do appreciate
Thank you so much,
your
Nadeem. Thank you so much for your insight.
I appreciate your effort. What you're doing right now, you really support the Druze community in Syria and in Israel and in Sweden. Let's be optimistic.